Hey, what is going on, guys? It is awesome to see you again. Today I have a lesson about the word almost. I see students make mistakes with this word all the time. And today I'm going to help you understand how to use it and some other words that you should use with almost, depending on the situation. Let's get started. Let's begin by looking at how you want to use the word almost. You want to use almost when something is very close to happening or being true, but it isn't. Let's look at this example. I was almost late to work today. So I was very close to being late, but I wasn't. Maybe I have to arrive at 9 o'clock or I'll be late. If I was almost late, I arrived at 8:59. I was very close to being late, but I wasn't. Let's look at two more examples. I almost forgot to do my homework yesterday. You were very close to forgetting. Maybe you got in bed, you were about to fall asleep, and then remembered, oh my gosh, I have to go do my homework. That class is difficult. Getting an A+ is almost impossible. It is very close to impossible. It's really, really hard to do. Now I'll explain a really, really common mistake that I hear a lot of students make. Almost is an adverb, so you should use it to describe a verb, like the first sentence, she was so sad that she almost cried. An adjective, I am almost finished, or another adverb, there were almost too many people. Let's look at these sentences. Almost my friends study English. I know almost my coworkers. Sentences like this are very common when I am working with some of my English students, and these are incorrect. They're wrong because friends and coworkers are nouns. You should not use almost to describe them. I'll show you the solution. For sentences like this, you want to use almost all. Use almost all when you are talking about close to 100% of a thing or of a group. Almost all of my friends study English. I know almost all of my coworkers. Both of these are correct. You can use almost all for singular countable nouns, plural countable nouns, and uncountable nouns. I ate almost all of the pizza, so I ate close to 100% of the pizza. There's only a little bit left. I drank almost all of the water. Here, pizza is singular and water is uncountable, and almost all works in both situations. Let's look at another mistake. I almost exercise after work. I almost meet my friends on the weekend. These are also incorrect. You want to use almost when you're talking about single, specific situations. But what if you're talking about many different situations at one time? Here is the solution for that. Use almost always for situations or experiences that happen many, many times. Almost always is for something that happens close to 100% of the time. So, I almost always exercise after work. I go to work many, many, many different days. Nearly 100% of those days. After work, I exercise. I almost always meet my friends on the weekend. There are many, many different weekends, but for close to 100% of those weekends, I meet my friends. Occasionally, I do something else, but almost all of the time, I meet my friends. Okay, now I'm gonna explain the difference between these two pairs of sentences. This is important. The first one, he was almost late today. Today, so that is a single situation. He was close to being late today, but he wasn't. That is just like the example we looked at earlier. He is almost always late. This means that out of all the days, many, many different days, for nearly 100% of those days, he is late. And it's the same as this second pair. I almost forgot my homework. I was close to forgetting, but I didn't. I almost always forget my homework. I have many different homework assignments, and I forget almost all of them. I barely ever remember my homework. Okay, let's do some practice. For each of these sentences, you should add almost, almost all, or almost always. You will use both twice. Okay, here are the answers. I have worked at this company for almost 4 years. So maybe 3 years, 11 months. He's a bad student. He almost always gets in trouble at school. Here, almost always is describing the verb gets. I like almost all the teachers at my school. Almost all healthy food tastes bad. So for both of those, nearly 100% of that thing or group. He made me so mad today, I almost hit him. I was close to hitting him, but I didn't. I almost always drive to work, but today I rode my bike. Okay, so let's review everything now. You want to use almost when something is close to happening or being true, but it isn't. And use almost for single, specific situations. Use almost all for nearly 100% of a thing or group. And then last, use almost always for something that happens or is true nearly 100% of the time. So use this when you're talking about a regular situation that happens many, many different times. You might have noticed when I was using almost all, sometimes I added the word of, but not every time. That is something that I want to explain to you, but I think this is enough for today. I'm gonna make another video about this topic, so keep an eye out for almost part 2. I will make that video soon. In that video, I will explain when you want to use of, and I'll also explain some other words you can use with almost, like every, everything, no, none, never, and nothing. So make sure you subscribe so you can get that video as soon as it comes out. Okay guys, I hope that helped you. I should be coming out with almost part 2 in a few weeks, so stay tuned for that. Keep studying hard. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Later.